exactly when it is necessary for the fire to pass through. That will be included in the actual general management plan.
The general management plan is to manage the Abaco National Park in a way that we stay to the mission and to the reasons why that park was protected.
Abaco National Park was primarily established to protect the nesting area for the parrots. The parrot needs its nest sites protected as well as feeding habitat throughout the island.
If their feeding grounds aren't protected, then that poses a huge problem for the Bahama parrot.
In years to come, you know, Abaco is an island that's really targeted for development. We would like to get some more land added onto that park.
What I would like to see protected as far as foraging habitat outside of the park is the Coppice Ridge, which is located along the eastern side of Great Abaco. When we did a tracking study of the birds, that's where we found that most of them went to was along this eastern ridge.
The Bahamas is a developing country, and we have to look 50 to 100 years. The conservation work that we do now will benefit for generations to come, because down in South Abaco might become very developed over the next 15 to 20 years. But at least we know that that area of land is protected. You go there and you start to appreciate the work of the trust and why these areas are being protected.
After 66 steps, I'm Matea Cunningham. This is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition has a look at stories making news tonight. The Public Service Minister responding to the national strike by union leaders. Also, day 2 of teachers not showing up for duty. An education official weighs in. And later, a shooting victim tells his side of the story.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Our quarterly union meetings that was held the week of December 16th, Mr. Ferguson did not attend. He sent his Secretary General, or his first vice, I think, Freddie Munnings.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks for tuning in. Topping news tonight, the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, led by Obi Ferguson, has sparked controversy with its announcement of an unlawful national strike. In a candid interview on The Rundown with Clint Watson, Minister of Labor and Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll, addressed the reasons behind the strike's illegality and provided clarity on the union's grievances. Our Shalia Roll joins us live in studio with more. Shalia.
Now, Ramiko, the saga continues as the announcement of an unlawful national strike was announced by the leader of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, Obi Ferguson. 2 questions on everyone's mind: why are the unions striking, and what made the strike unlawful? While the Minister of Labor and Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll, says in a candid interview on The Rundown with Clint Watson last night, clarifying why the strike was considered illegal.
Illegal to strike. However, the Industrial Relations Act speaks to, in Section 74, it speaks to the process.
Due process.
When due process is eliminated in some way, then it becomes an illegal action. How did this become an illegal action? If you are prompting a sick call-out via voice note, then ultra-virus the law, you are now engaging or causing persons to engage in illegal action.
Right, because you're not sick.
So it's not an illegal strike, but by the means by which you attempted to engage your members to sit out, then affected the process.
Upon the news about the strike breaking, Prime Minister Philip Davis released a press statement saying that, according to his diary, a meeting was scheduled between him and Ferguson at 2 p.m. yesterday. The Minister of Labor and Public Service says that the strike came as a shock because the door for communication has always been open between the two parties.
My knowledge, the Prime Minister and he have met on a number of occasions. In fact, the Prime Minister has met with him since prior to seeing me, because our quarterly union meetings that was held the week of December 16th, Mr. Ferguson did not attend. He sent his Secretary General, or his first vice, I think, Freddie Munnings. So he's seen the Prime Minister even since he's seen me, before he's seen me lately. So dialogue is ongoing. The last meeting held with the TUC.
Glover Rule says that the conclusion to the quarterly meetings in December with union leaders ended on a good note, setting timelines to resolve the ongoing matters.
Meet with the minister, the director, the registrar, the labor consultants, and our whole group on the week of December 16th. And we left the meeting with the final word being said that all was well. We know we have matters to resolve. We have set timelines. We know that there are matters to resolve, and this is what is the action plan. But, Minister, we are grateful. We're grateful for this audience and the resolve that has been had so far and the work that is being done.
Now, Romiko, Glover Rule says since coming to office, the government has signed 53 new industrial agreements, has cleared the backlog when it comes to promotion, confirmation, and other long-standing matters, ruled out the minimum wage increase, among many other achievements. She stands firm that some problems take more time to rectify than others, but her team is working tirelessly to resolve these issues. Coming to you live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Rule. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks so much, Aaliyah. Well, just 2 days of strike action, but the Deputy Director of Education on Grand Bahama says 1 hour makes a huge difference when it comes to educating the nation's youth. For another day, services like education and healthcare are impacted as the TUC and its affiliate unions say they are acting to secure what union members are owed. Cleopatra has a look at the strike's impact on education.
Just 52 students from the 8 Mile Rock High School, 44 at Hugh Campbell Primary, 30 at Grand Key All Age, and 47 at the Louise McDonald High School on Bimini showed up for school on the second day of a TUC-led strike that for another day saw significant numbers of teachers and administrators fail to show up for work.
It has negatively impacted Grand Bahama, our schools, and students in particular. Of course, now we're in the second term. And the second term, we have examinations coming up, BJC, BGCSE, national exams, and the GLAT will be in May. And so this is the time when students should be in school.
Deputy Director of Education Michelle Boleg says despite Monday's noon closure and most school campuses being devoid of students, school hours remained as usual, adding there has been no major change in attendance from teachers and administrators from the day before.
We do have some teachers still reporting. We had principals, some principals reported yesterday, as some principals would have, administrators would have reported today as well. However, the numbers are very small.
Teachers and administrators from the more than 800-strong Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union participated in the strike. Among their concerns, teacher placements. Boleg admits there are some issues. Some, she says, have been addressed.
But we also understand some teachers' concern because there are some persons whose confirmation has taken longer than expected, and that goes back to the public service, of course, not so much the Ministry of Education. And so teachers work very hard, our administrators work very hard, and so whatever matters that need to be addressed, I'm hoping that they are addressed in a timely manner.
The industrial action was set to last 2 days, and Boleg anticipates a return to business as usual Wednesday. She is encouraging parents to send their children to school so learning can resume. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Well, the Public Hospitals Authority releasing a statement tonight that an injunction has been issued by Honorable Justice Darren Ellis. This legal order requires all employees associated with the respective unions to return to work for the next scheduled shift. According to the statement, this injunction is vital for maintaining the continuity of care and services within our public hospitals. The authority also adding that it values the hard work and dedication of all healthcare workers and remains committed to ensuring a safe and productive work environment for everyone. Stay tuned to the Bahamas Tonight for more on this story. Well, a nationwide strike has caused disruptions in schools across the northern Bahamas, but Abaco and the Berry Islands have seen minimal impact. Local officials assure that schools are running smoothly with efforts in place to keep education on track.
It is the second day of a nationwide strike that has disrupted some government functions across the country, including some public schools throughout the northern Bahamas. But in the Abaco district, the situation remains calm with minimal disruption reported.
Yesterday, we had maybe about 4 or 5 absent from duty. It didn't affect the instruction in the classroom. And today, we have about 2 absent.
While there were more administrators absent than teachers, Abaco District Superintendent Chester Cooper says schools like Patrick J. Bethel and Central Abaco Primary saw some of their administrative staff call out.
For administrators, we had basically 2 large schools in Marsh Harbor. The admin teams of those schools call out, with the exception of 1 administrator at the high school. Today, the same thing applies. Yeah, those same persons who called out yesterday, they also called out today.
The action, orchestrated by Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson, was initiated to protest the Davis administration's alleged failure to honor several key agreements outlined in a memorandum of understanding. Ferguson's call to action has sent shockwaves across the nation, but Cooper says Abaco's education staff quickly sprang into action.
We had our regular instructional time. Teachers who were absent, those classes were covered by other persons. But of course, to fill that void, I would have dispatched my office staff to fill the void.
And over in the Berry Islands, Family Island Administrator Kenwood Cartwright says everything is running smoothly there.
All is well there on the Berry Islands, as far as I know. The teachers are there, the students are there. In fact, we had our time capsule burying ceremony this morning where school students and teachers took part in it.
And with the national examinations approaching, officials say the goal is to ensure students' education continues with as little disruption as possible.
It's definitely an issue when you find that, this kind of thing happens where, kids losing time for, reasons that goes beyond them.
We understand what the teachers are fighting for as well. I have my mother, my sisters who are teachers, many aunts that are teachers, so we understand the fight. But we also understand the need for continued learning.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
In other news, former Prime Minister of the Right Honorable Perry Christie recently highlighted the success of major development projects on Grand Bahama during a speech to Rotarians. Christie reflecting on how many of these initiatives now coming to fruition were originally launched under the Progressive Liberal Party government during his tenure. He expressed confidence that the current administration is on the course to restore Grand Bahama to its former glory, urging all residents to actively engage in efforts to build a brighter future for the island. Jolanda Thompson-Everest reports.
Former Prime Minister of the Right Honorable Perry Christie says that the island of Grand Bahama is making great progress following years of economic challenges. While highlighting the significance of the establishment of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, he also touted the success of projects started under his administration.
As Prime Minister, all the things that happened, like 6 census, Carnival Port, happened in my time. It just takes long to develop.
Christie noted that during 2 of his terms as Prime Minister, he closely examined the economy and observed that the development of the island had not yet reached the desired level. Therefore, he came up with an idea to bring over one of the world's largest consulting groups, the McKinsey Group, to advise the government on what to do.
When they reported, I laid the report in Parliament, made it public down here to those who would like to see it. And then I appointed a committee chaired by a former minister in my government, Dr. Marcus Bethel, and I wanted to take the politics out of it.
Continuing his discussion on the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, he explained that there is currently no active model being implemented in Grand Bahama. He further emphasized that Grand Bahama is a unique island, one that requires special attention from any government.
I decided that when agreements were made by Wallace Groves and they had a defined time for it, and we kept on extending it, that it was time for us to look very carefully at what was happening.
Regarding the origins of developments, the former national leader noted that many major projects that have emerged in Grand Bahama began under the Progressive Liberal Party. Unfortunately, he explained these developments took longer to come to fruition than anticipated.
When a prime minister says, we have to do this together, I can't do it. My government can't do it by itself. We have to do it together. It necessarily means that you have to take advantage of an invitation to help define the future of Grand Bahama.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
We turn now to a ZNS exclusive. On Monday, reports came in of a police investigating a shooting incident that took place in Air Paradise Cove. An adult male was walking along the beach when an unknown gunman emerged from nearby bushes and opened fire. Today, videos released by the victim went viral on social media, and we had the chance to hear his side of the ordeal. Shane Stubbs has more on this report.
I'm just in pain and I can't move.
We're sending some assistance, okay? Do you know who shot you?
Just get here, please. I'm not dying. So get here, please.
Yes, and our ambulance and police is en route to you.
It was a scary moment for a man left fighting for his life after sustaining 2 gunshot wounds, one to the body and one to the head. The incident taking place nearby a popular business establishment in West Grand Bahama. The victim, a simple man who was filming a survival project, is just happy to be alive.
To basically gather information of what type of plants there are that burn well, which ones don't burn well, which ones would be poisonous, to gather information basically, to then also give that knowledge on to anybody who might be in that situation or wants to have fun camping.
Known by the name Dante Double, the victim shares that his mornings would include morning devotion on the beach around 5:30 a.m. and then he would continue to carry out his work on the project. But this particular morning, he felt something different in the atmosphere. That's when his suspicious feeling became a daunting reality.
When I walked, he was behind a bush, and he was very technical with it. He was professional with it, I must say. I did not see him till I was close enough, and he made that step and that shot.
Dante says the first shot brought him to the floor, followed by a close-range shot to the back of his head. Miraculously, the bullet never entered his skull, but instead grazed across the skin. However, in that moment, he could only hold on for dear life as he phoned for emergency.
Hello? Tell them hurry up, please, now. And I just played dead and held my breath. And then after, I guess, close to a minute maybe, like 40 seconds, 45 seconds, I then called the police to come. It took them half an hour to get there.
Frustrated with the wait time and how he was allegedly treated by emergency personnel, Dante says he's been grateful all his life. But even in the face of death, he stood resolute in his belief that he would not die.
Gratus. That's the way we live, that's the way we walk. But I'm not grateful to be alive because I knew I wasn't going to die.
Now, according to Dante, the incident followed a disagreement he had with someone in the area a day or two prior to the shooting. However, he could not make out who his assailant was. Since that time, police have taken 2 males into custody for questioning, and the investigation continues. From the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Police officials reporting the apparent drowning of a tourist in waters between Bimini, in waters between Bimini and the Berry Islands. As the story goes, Defense Force officers responded to a stress call around 2:30 p.m. Monday near Mackey Shoal. A 28-year-old man found adrift and in distress near a jet ski was rescued. Another unresponsive man was also recovered Both men, visitors, were taken to a clinic in the Berry Islands. According to reports, the duo left Nassau on a jet ski this past Saturday for a fishing trip in Bimini. The jet ski reportedly took on water near Andros, forcing the two to use it as a raft. Again, there were no visible signs of foul play. An autopsy will determine the exact cause of death.
And still to come.
The Ministry of Grand Bahama hosting a majority rule exhibition. That story, sports, and more when we return.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this month.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Tech Masters Freeport, your go-to for electronics, IT services, and repairs. Visit Sunset Commercial Plaza or call 351-5283 today. Tech Masters, we've mastered IT.
Welcome to the new era of home improvement. Third Dimension is back and better than ever. Discover our latest products and services designed to transform your space. From innovative designs to cutting-edge technology, we've got it all. Your dream space is just a call away. Our team is here and ready to serve you, making your experience better than ever. Visit us today on Yellow Pine Street and see why Third Dimension is your go-to for all things home improvement.
Your #1 team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. This past Friday, Bahamians throughout the country celebrated the Majority Rule holiday. Here in Grand Bahama, the Ministry for Grand Bahama hosting a Majority Rule exhibit to share the story of what our Majority Rule foot soldiers had to endure in the race to freedom. The Minister for Grand Bahama says that it is important for Bahamians to learn the history of the Bahamas.
To tell the story of Majority Rule, to tell the work of the foot soldiers on Grand Bahama Island who were involved in us achieving Majority Rule. And we wanted the kids to learn more about it, so we hope to extend this so that it gets into the school. School kids can actually come and visit the exhibit.
The exhibit will be moved to the Harold de Gregory building to accommodate students and to allow them to learn more about Bahamian history.
We're going to move it to the Harold de Gregory building where students will be able to visit it as well, because we want them to see more of it. We did have it last year, but I think so many of the students were not able to participate.
While continuing their annual tradition, the state Junkanoo is hosting their Fun Day for the young children in the West End community as a token of appreciation for their consistent support over the past several years. The 16-year endeavor utilizing the Old Bahama Bay Resort, consisting of freshly grilled burgers, a bouncing castle along with face painting, and some interactive activities. Promotion and Marketing Director for the state, Gary Super Johnson, says the event is one many in the West End community continue to look forward to.
As you can see, we have a lot of adults here now, and everybody who comes and chips in, you know, and get it well. And now we are Old Bahama Bay. We'd like to thank Mr. Culmer, who has made it possible for us to be at this venue for the last 3 years. You know, we just like to do something for all the kids in the community, just, you know, show our appreciation to West End.
Johnson adds the event means a lot for not only him, but the entire group to continue its appearance, putting in loads of work to make a lasting impression on the hearts of the neighbors around him.
We don't have any major sponsor, so we have to do fundraisers in order to keep ourselves on the road, keep ourselves relevant. It's important because, as you can see, the kids were here, and everybody expect every year that when this time comes around, Sting is going to be doing this party. And if you don't do it for 1 year, you know, it'll just be a big disappointment for us and the community of the Ascent. So, you know, we look forward to doing it, and for us, it's fun.
Well, that's a look at stories making news. Jay Philippe, what's happening in sports?
Coming up in sports, flag football, also night league basketball. Miko, I played last night, man. I'm sore and I'm tired, man.
I don't play no more, so. But that's coming up next. Your check on weather is up first.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
See news in the making? Call us at 352-9713 or 359-5167, or you can email us at ZNS3news@gmail.com.
Foresight IT Professionals is your resource for IT products and services, offering products ranging from computers, point of sale, and CCTV systems. Services ranging from network setup, remote technical support, computer repair, and more. Visit number 11 Four-Way Cooperative Plaza. Call 602-0946 or WhatsApp 813-3355. Foresight IT Professionals, your IT products and services resource.
Shape Your Crepe has so much to offer. From delicious, savory, and sweet crepes, coffee drinks and bubble teas, to rich, creamy milkshakes, and so much more. We are located on West Mall Drive, Freeport, Grand Bahama, and coming soon to Plaza del Sol, Prince Charles Drive, Nassau, Bahamas. Shape Your Crepe, handcrafted crepes and more. Call us at 68-SHAPE.
Are you ready? I'm ready.
I am ready.
I am ready. I am ready.
Ready or not, it's here. That's right, the biggest gospel show with me, Uncle Fee Baby Boy, on 8:10 a.m. That's right, interviews, greatest songs, praise and worship. It's going to be exciting. We're going to take the Bahamas to the world and bring the world to the Bahamas.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. First in sports, the Rising Stars Invitational Softball Tournament wrapped up on the weekend on Grand Bahama with girls like Diamond winning the 12U title, while Rising Stars won the 16U championship. The Minister of Youth, Sport and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg, was in attendance for the tournament and was very pleased with what he saw from the players, coaches, and organizers.
Let me congratulate Yvonne Lockhart, Narissa Lockhart, and Trudy for their vision and inspiration and understanding the need for establishing a program like the Rising Star to train and develop young ladies between the age of 6 and 18 in the game of softball. And Greg Christie, who this tournament is named after, was one of the consultants who saw the vision and joined in with them and ensured that something like this came to fruition, and that's why this tournament is named after him. And so over the years, we have seen the development of softball with young ladies in Grand Bahama, and so a tournament like this is definitely needed. And, you know, it inspires our young ladies to be able to learn the skill set of softball.
Next in sports, course in the Grand Bahama Basketball Association Men's Basketball League in Game 1, 2-4-2 lead held on to beat Connacht Shipping 85-83. Jaden Mader led the team with 22 points in the win. Deshaun Wildwood scored a game-high 38 points in the loss. In Game 2, 8-Man Rock Legends got the W against the Police Enforcers 79-66, led by Keno Russell with 20 points. Travis Wildgoose had 23 points in the loss for the Police. Also in sports, results from Week 6 of the Air 8-Out 5-on-5 Flag Football League. Team Goldheart destroyed the Arsonists 46-6 in the opening match. Team Switcher edged out off the bench 14-13 in a very closely contested game. In Game 3, Self-Made Bulldogs beat the Knights 26-21, and the feature game had no mercy, winning against the Wolves. The final score on that one was 28-27. And that's your check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm J. Philippe. As always, be blessed.
Get in, get out, equip yourself for the future. Pine Yard Technical Center is preparing the next generation for tomorrow. Sign up today for long-term or short-term classes. Strike a spark today, ignite a flame tomorrow. Torch handling, fire watch, plate and pipe welding. Sign up today.
#1 team in the north. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
That's going to do it for us here in the north. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's a live look at the Bahamas tonight, coming your way next.
News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, striking employees ordered back to work, and the courts said so. And this is unions today up to the ante with increased staff call-outs. Also a meetup between the Prime Minister and the RBPF's new leadership team as the government seeks to get tougher on crime. And the expected impact of VAT's pending reduction on uncooked food through the eyes of a non-profit organization. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. A promise delivered, but at whose expense? Day 2 of the Trade Union Congress's sick out, cutting deep for operations at several of the country's health facilities. So much so, those actions prompting the Attorney General to file an interim injunction, forcing employees to return to work immediately. Our Lloyd Allen joins us live. Well, we'll come back to our Lloyd Allen, who is standing by at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Those industrial woes that we're dealing with also had the Labor Minister talking. Joining us in studio is our Altavis Munnings.
Mukashla, so good to see you. Thank you so much. But I want to say that Labor Minister, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll, admits all unions have the right to strike. In fact, during the Davis administration's 3 years in office, she noted that some 8 strike certificates were signed and that she approved. But that's not the primary concern. Minister Glover-Roll disclosed on Monday, while she appeared on the Rundown with Clint Watson right here on the ZNS network, that she holds quarterly meetings with all unions. And they set the agenda for those meetings in order for her to hear their concerns.
When you push away from the table, that takes us to a place of stalemate.
This is why Labor Minister Glover-Roll is perplexed about the Trade Union Congress's protest this week after a successful meeting with the organization in December. While she knows these legacy union issues won't be solved overnight, the Labor Minister is of the view that it's important to fix the system now to avoid these problems from happening again.
I feel that the closer we get to the finish line, the obstacles will be thrown in the way. We have a memorandum of understanding that is 96% complete. We have a labor agenda that can be checked off in our blueprint for change that is almost complete. We have 53 agreements signed, and they don't like when I say that, but let me qualify that. 53 agreements signed, with the majority of them expiring in July of this year, which means they've been honored. which means now we're going to renegotiate, which means that their members, their workers, who are most important, have benefited. I'm not discouraged. The work continues because the work isn't for the unions. The work is for the workers of the country, and that is who I'm responsible for.
Minister Glover Roll, though, has to contend with clearing the public service backlog and managing a 21st century workforce with antiquated rules.
In December, recently regularized 752-week workers.
Wow.
That's everybody that was on the program historically that was just in limbo, sitting on the program, a 52-week worker who's been on the program for 12 years.
12 years?
Okay. But now they've all been regularized. Those who have not already received their letters during the holidays should be receiving their letters within the coming weeks because we have distributed the letters to their various ministries.
And Mukushla Minister Glover Roll is reiterating and stressing that these legacy issues can't be resolved overnight. And getting back to the TUC's protest, she says she's grateful that contingency plans were in place to ensure that no essential services endured a significant interruption, but she's committed to ensuring that the union's issues are addressed on all levels.
Well, thanks, Alto. And speak of interruption, we go now to our Lloyd Allen, who is standing by at the Princess Margaret Hospital, where an urgent press conference was held earlier today. Lloyd?
Well, Makusha, the past 48 hours creating havoc for public hospital authority officials as they've been impacted by actions brought on by the Trade Union Congress. That's starting on Monday. Now, you may recall that we reported about 90% of junior physicians called in sick yesterday. Today, that number increasing to about 98%. But some good news on the way, according to Managing Director Albernette Roll, who confirmed that an injunction brought on by the Attorney General's office now requiring all related union members back to work. This, of course, bringing relief to an already strained situation.
As well as it relates to the CPSA, which is the senior set of physicians, it was around 60% the entire time. We saw a tad increase in that nursing population, but generally there were a few areas that had significant impact, in particular the emergency room, and one could imagine why, because of the impact of the physicians in what we call the acute care facility, as well as the public health facility, or what we call the clinics. The impact was there, and so we had persons coming to the hospital.
Roll says in response, auxiliary resources were engaged.
We were able to bring physicians inside the hospital so that we were able to divide the levels of care in the emergency room.
Now, as it relates to grievances, Roll today disclosed that a conversation was held earlier with senior physicians, a meeting described as strong-willed.
But I have a clear understanding of some of the concerns, some of them that I deem to be miscommunications. I did advise them that there were several steps that I would take. One, I would have a communication with my chairman, who was responsible for the PHA. I would also have a discussion with the minister, and I would lay over those levels of concern.
The PHA managing director stressed, though, that all contracts outside the financial elements of the industrial agreement have been struck. So until a deal is met, patient care remains the order of the day. Health Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, agrees and hopes services are restored.
The Supreme Court ordered that an injunction restraining the employees with the Department of Public Health, the Ministry of Health, as well as the Public Hospitals Authority, from being a part of any strike vote or any industrial action, and has ordered the members who are employed with the PHA, the Ministry of Health, the Department of Public Health, back to work and to return to work as rostered by the schedule.
Now, Makusha, that injunction impacting not just PHA affiliates, but also air traffic controller union members. And according to the injunction, those who refuse to comply may face imprisonment or jail time. Reporting here from the Princess Margaret Hospital for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen. Makushla?
Well, thanks, Lloyd. Still on Labor News, ZNS News receiving photos from a number of customs posts that showed officers absent due to the Trade Union Congress's industrial action. But Customs Comptroller Ralph Monroe is tonight refuting those claims. In fact, he denied any significant impact was made to on customs operations. Now, Monroe telling our news team only 13 Grand Bahama customs officers called in yesterday, with the majority of staff on duty today. Abaco customs staff were in full force over the past 2 days, completing a very busy workload. And here in the capital, 37 out of the 44 officers at Arawak Key reported to work. Those not on duty reportedly had valid reasons to be off, the comptroller adding that he personally visited the Lyndon Pending International Airport on Monday and noticed no disruptions. Now, following the TUC's attempt to organize a mass sick-out, National Congress of Trade Unions of the Bahamas Secretary General Daniel Thompson reasons that every union has its demands, but blames bureaucracy for railroading true progress. Thompson says social dialogue is the way forward for negotiations, but fears timing is out of sync between governments and unions, resulting in an MOU backlog.
These were issues that transcended several administrations. And what is happening now, the government is finally trying to address these old age issues. And you know how the saying goes, once you address one issue, it exposes a new level. So what we're doing, I think, is entering into a secondary level of issues. So persons are being represented. And these are issues such as overtime pay, and that I'm hearing people talking about. Those are management, administrative things that can be handled at the organizational level.
Well, tonight we also have the NCTUB's first Vice President Sherry Benjamin speaking on Cable Bahamas and parks and beaches. Labor Minister, the Honorable Pia Glover commits to a resolution in the case of both matters.
I've been complicit, and I believe that this government is also in the same state, because we've not been able to. This is my second term, and I've been fighting from day one to get to the table with Cable Bahamas, and they have still been ducking and dodging. And we have sent in recognition for the workers at beaches and parks, and that has been from last year, March. We've actually sent in March, and we sent in July, and the chairman has not responded to us yet.
Well, here's what the Labor Minister had to say.
The matter of the BCPOU, who are seeking recognition with Cable Bahamas and also with the Beaches and Parks Authority. Regarding Cable Bahamas, it is our decision that they will have to go to poll to determine that they do have the 50+1 that they stated that is needed for them to gain representation. However, with Beaches and Parks, this is a new request that has been ratcheted up to the Minister of Works, who is reviewing. It just got to him over the past few weeks, right before the holidays, and he's assured me that he will be reviewing the matter and, of course, seeking to have a meeting with the BCPOU executives.
Coming up, police probe apparent family island drowning. So you're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
There are some things that are undeniably Bahamian. A good count salad, Junkanoo, the way we worship, the way we take care of one another, all undeniably Bahamian. And right in the midst of our iconic things, places, and people is Commonwealth Bank. Increasing access, sponsoring dreams, working alongside Bahamians to increase the quality of their lives for more than 60 years. Commonwealth Bank, nothing more than being Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
KFC Value Box for just $9.95. Crunch your KFC craving with a KFC Value Box for just $9.95. Get a piece of our golden fried chicken, crispy fries, cheesy mashed potatoes, 3 juicy all-white meat nuggets, a buttery biscuit, a sweet dessert biscuit, and a 16-ounce soda, all for just $9.95. Now that's a deal. Big flavor, bigger value, and always KFC. Finger licking good.
With BGC's crystal clear mobile service, stay connected seamlessly, whether on land or at sea. Our reliable postpaid plans keep your loved ones closer, no matter where life takes you.
You guys had anything to eat us yet? Y'all know Christmas just gone and things go rough.
All right, but y'all let me working all day, but what we gonna eat?
If we was by the mall, we could go by Wendy's and get the Dave's special for $5.
Yeah, but you do know that the Dave's deal is now actually nationwide, right?
Wait, let's go. Cable Beach right there.
Let's go.
All right.
The news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
You're looking at a drone shot of the Margaritaville Beach Resort nestled in a prime spot close to Nassau's attractions. Welcome back. The newly minted top brass of the Royal Bahamas Police Force recently getting a one-on-one with the Prime Minister, his deputy, and National Security Minister. Those talks centering on getting a better understanding of what additional resources the RBPF needs to more aggressively fight violent crime, and that those efforts are sharp, focused, and decisive. And Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis sees dismantling gangs as key.
Gangs are a cancer on our communities, preying on the vulnerable, fostering fear, and fueling violence. We will not tolerate the existence, and each of you should commit yourselves not to tolerate this existence. So using the full strength of the anti-gang legislation, I expect a hard crackdown on these criminal networks. Our mission is not only to disrupt their operations, but to dismantle them entirely. We will root out gang leaders. We will dismantle their financial networks and ensure those responsible face the full force of the law.
The Prime Minister acknowledges that another aspect of this is breaking the cycle of gang recruitment.
I need this addressed not only through enforcement, but by strengthening the urban renewal programs, engaging in communities, and creating opportunities that give our youth a reason to turn away from crime. And of course, the school policing is a huge and important initiative in this regard. To me, prevention is just as important as detection and prosecution.
The Prime Minister's promised to provide the RBPF with additional intelligence devices in short order. Well, a day at the beach turns tragic for two men on the Family Islands. The first incident playing out after 11 a.m. yesterday on Exuma. Police reporting that a 34-year-old man was found unresponsive floating in waters near Jolly Hall Beach. He was retrieved and examined by a doctor who pronounced him dead. Authorities say there were no visible signs of foul play. Nearly 3 hours later, police reporting the apparent drowning of a tourist in waters between Bimini and the Berry Islands. As the story goes, Defense Force officers responded to a distress call around 2:30 p.m. Monday near Mackey Shoal. A 28-year-old man found adrift and is in distress near a jet ski was rescued. Now, another unresponsive man was also recovered. Both men, visitors, were taken to a clinic in the Berry Islands. The backstory is that the duo left Nassau on a jet ski this past Saturday for a fishing trip in Bimini. The jet ski reportedly took on water near Andros, forcing the two to use it as a raft. Again, there were no visible signs of foul play as in the first case. An autopsy will determine the exact cause of death. Well, 18 people arrested for various immigration-related offenses, be it illegal entry, overstaying, or outstanding document fee payments, making up the group 16 Haitians, 1 Zimbabwean, and a Jamaican. They've all since been repatriated. Immigration officials also reporting that between January 1st and 13th, 66 foreigners, that's 27 Haitians, 25 Cubans, 6 Dominicans, 2 Indians, and 1 Honduran, Russian, Jamaican, American, Ghanaian, and Ecuadorian have been sent back home. Further, during the same period, 20 passengers were denied entry at the Lyndon Pinley International Airport. Well, in other news, the new environmental planning and protection spot fines regulations now in effect. Officials have their own ticket books and can issue fines on the spot for environmental infractions. Starting any construction project without a certificate of environmental clearance could set you back $10,000. These fines extend to protected areas, wildlife, pollution, plastics, styrofoam, and more. Obstructing these officers when they are issuing fines could cost you $5,000. Environment Minister, the Honorable Von P. Miller, says the fines were necessary considering the belligerence of residents when officials attempted to carry out orders.
Whoever the person was actually assaulted the officer because they were operating illegally. They were warned repeatedly and actually assaulted the officer. And that's the case that's pending as we speak. So we really want to serve notice that we have a zero tolerance going forward, and we intend to levy fines, and we intend to take it to the maximum extent of the law.
The government recently announcing a 5 percentage point reduction in value-added tax on non-cooked foods purchased in food stores in hopes of relieving residents from hardships created through the still very high cost of living. This high cost has also posed a challenge for nonprofit organizations tasked with providing assistance to those in need and answering the call when disasters hit home. President of the Bahamas Red Cross, Edison Sumner, is cautiously optimistic that this reduction will help the organization reduce its purchasing cost and provide even more help to those in need. Though he hastens to add, it's still too early to tell.
The reduction in the VAT, I think it's too early to see because that doesn't set in until April. So we now have to do an assessment to find that was based on our historic purchasing of supplies from whether it's food stores or wholesalers. We've now got to make some projections to see, well, once this reduction sets in, what is that going to mean for us? What is going to be the net effect or impact on our ability to purchase? I'm hopeful that it will cause us to be able to purchase a little more.
While some may argue that this proposed cut is minimal at best, Sumner says its impact on the organization could be significant and allow it to do a lot more for those in need. He points out that paying less for food could provide the Red Cross with more resources to purchase materials and other supplies it needs to carry out its work.
There are other things we'd like to see the government do, of course, in helping to further reduce the cost of living in the country. But I think if we are moving from a 10% VAT rate to a 5% VAT rate on products being sold in the food stores, I think that could have a very positive impact on the pockets of the average consumer over time. But on larger organizations like ourselves, it will have an even greater impact because we spend a lot more money on a regular basis buying food supplies to support our welfare program, our Meals on Wheels program, right? So that 5-point drop and reducing it to 5%, I think will have a positive impact on our bottom line and hopefully will give us better buying power.
Well, stay with us on The Beat is after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community, also help with the education of our kids in this community, and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Caesars stuffed crust pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
At Shell, we say refresh, refuel, rejoice. This Christmas, every $20 fuel up earns you a ticket to over $25,000 in joyful giveaways. Refresh your holiday mood with lavish hotel vouchers, exclusive spa treatments, and high-end shopping vouchers. Fuel up and submit your receipt by WhatsApp to 422-0271 for a chance to win with Shell. Drive to Shell. Fuel up and enter to win your share of $25,000 in giveaways for a December to remember. Terms and conditions apply.
It's no secret, starting a business isn't easy. It takes a lot of work, grind, and determination, a combination that quite often result in success. In tonight's Business Beat, Corville Pyfrom highlights one young starter who is showing us how it's done.
It's pretty safe to say that young businessman Tristan Hanna is on the move. Just a year ago, after completing university, this now 23-year-old took his passion for security, safety, and innovation and started his own business, providing affordable solar-efficient security system products.
So I had to find a way to mesh those three together. And the latter part of that was what we just talked about, innovation. That's solar. That's fairly new, right? Security's been here for a little while, yes. So that catered to my needs to protecting people. So when I put the two together, that's when SafePoint was created.
SafePoint. That's the name of Tristan's business, which began in his vehicle when he would go around making deliveries and installations. Just recently, Tristan was able to move his store and products into this Robinson Road location.
People love it here. When they come inside, they love the environment. Normally there's music playing. They find it a place where they can get all their security needs and solar needs in one place.
A month in, and the feedback, he says, has been positive.
I found out that solar was a great way to save money, and it's also a great way to sustain your environment as well. So it's great for the environment and the community.
But Tristan isn't only trying to run a business, he's trying to change mindsets and get more people to see how useful and cost-effective the move to solar really is.
Solar, it's like a product, but it has its mini generator right on the side of it. So obviously this is practically a regular light, yes, but there is that little generator right on the side of it. Like there's no gasoline needed, there's nothing needed but the sun. And as we know, in the Bahamas, the sun is mostly around, right? So charging your lights is never an issue, or charging your solar products is never an issue.
His advice, meanwhile, to others embarking on a similar journey, believe in God, find your goals, and trust the process. Tristan, who recently became a recipient of the Small Business Development Center's Men in Business Initiative grant, has plans for taking SafePoint into becoming the region's premier safety and security solutions stop. On the Business Beat, I'm Corville Pyfrom.
Well, we now check in with LaDawn and Desmond for a sneak peek of Access Now. Guys, what's up?
Well, Makushla, guess what? The Red Cross Ball is coming up, and I think Desmond is excited. I know you're going to be excited. I'm excited because I want to know who's the headliner.
We're just going to find that out, but I look forward to it every year. Good food, good people, a worthy cause.
Yes. Desmond, we can go together. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight is back after the break.
Chicken lovers, listen up. Popeyes is serving it up for you. Get 5 pieces of juicy, hand-battered, bone-in chicken for just $10. That's right, 5 pieces of Louisiana-style flavor, fried to golden, crispy perfection for only $10. But don't wait. This deal won't last forever. Head to your nearest Popeyes today and grab your 5-piece for just $10. Popeyes, where the chicken's always worth the hype. Available for a limited time only.
Health is the greatest gift.
That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Much has been said about downtown Nassau. Some have long argued it's dirty, a ghost town after hours, but despite the naysayers, it's an established destination and gem to so many others. And its placement on Caribbean Journal's annual list of 25 best Caribbean destinations to visit this year proves it. The publication notes the growing interest in cultural immersion, musical experiences, wellness retreats, and the enduring appeal of the region's natural beauty, making the Bahamas a shoo-in, some may say. While Antigua and Barbuda lands the coveted top spot, hot to trot behind it is Exuma. Downtown Nassau is listed 4th, Cape Santa Maria and Long Island 9th, Green Turtle Key and the Abacos 10th, and Cape Eleuthera 22nd. Well, that does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Bahamas, are you ready? 2025! Keep the vibe alive, music to present. KB. Well, you don't know me yet. KB and friends. The Boatman Show.
All you rake and scrape lovers out there, Saturday, February 1st, Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group invites you out to enjoy some Bahamian culture with KB and Friends in concert, The Boatman Show.
Saturday, February 1st at the Farm, Marshall Road.
Can't wait to see you there.
The legendary KB and Friends. Gino D. Colin McDonald. Irish Score in the Spank Band. The Falcons, Ancient Man, Mama D. Shine 242 and more.
KB and Friends in concert at the Farm, Marshall Road, Saturday, February 1st.
Tickets on sale at the Beauty Shack. Low location, General 50, VIP 80. And for the Platinum fans, exclusive skyboxes are available. Gates open at 7 p.m. For more info, call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Let's keep the vibe alive.
Well, the ever so popular Red Cross Ball is coming up. Are you up for the dance?
And coming up sooner than you think, the Bahamas Bridal Show. The details straight ahead.
Nursing students are being treated to their own book by Tamir Scherer.
And coming up, and coming up in sports, GSSA action is heating up.
The Bahamas Tonight Access Now starts now.
We're just so excited here this evening. Well, good evening. I'm Desmond Saunders. Welcome to Access Now, the Bahamas Tonight.
And I'm LaDawn Davis.
Well, the talks of industrial action with our country's unions seem to be settling down a little bit.
Seems so, but guess what? That's for the other big show. We're going to keep things a little lighter over here, right, Desmond?
Correct. You're right. Let's dive straight into the news for you this evening. And we're talking about the Red Cross Ball. It's January. And LaDawn, if you haven't got your gown yet, you need to get your gown.
All
and
right.
It's the ball circuit, part of your social routine. Then you know the annual festive gala ball season kicks off with the Red Cross Ball, which takes place later this month. Covell Pytham spoke with organizers who are promising that this year's soiree will fascinate attendees.
With only days to go before one of the year's most anticipated events, organizers of the Red Cross Ball can barely contain their excitement. Ball co-chair Kimberly Thurston and committee member D. Leslie Brown say the final touches are being put on this year's extravaganza, which will have an enchanting Asian twist to it, one that highlights new beginnings.
The ball will be held on Saturday, January 25th, 2025 at the Grand Ballroom, Atlantis, with cocktails at 7 p.m. and a 5-course meal served at 8 p.m.
From your entrance into the ball arena, you're going to be blown away by the decor. We have a wonderful decor program that will send waves through the community for those who attend the ball this year. And secondly, the entertainment won't be compared anywhere else.
It's also a new beginning every day at the Bahamas Red Cross does to be of service to the public at large.
The ball, which has become the organization's main annual fundraiser, will this year pay tribute to philanthropists Sir Franklin and Sharon Lady Wilson as its individual honorees, and its corporate honoree will be Bamboo Shack. The night will include elegance at its finest, with top-notch music for lots of dancing the night away. Both the Royal Bahamas Police and Defense Force pop bands will be there, as will the night's resident band, the Rhythm Band. The evening's featured entertainer, Blotty. Organizers say come early and stay late. As for what they want you to feel when you come to the ball.
Wow, exquisite decor. You're going to be blown away because you're going to feel like you're in all those Asian countries. Just from the theme, from the decor, from you enter until you exit.
Between the decor and the entertainment at this year's ball, we about to, as the young people say, lock the music and shut the city down.
Tickets for individuals and corporate packages are still available. Now in its 51st year, organizers of this year's Red Cross Ball, being held under the theme Mystic Blossoms, an enchanted journey through Asia, say this will be the most memorable one yet. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pfeiffer.
Thanks a lot, Corvell. The Bahamas Bridal Association is preparing for its highly anticipated Come for the Romance Conference and Trade Show scheduled for Friday, January 31st at the British Colonial Hotel. The event aims to connect professionals in the wedding and event planning industries while showcasing the latest trends. Conference Chair Leslie Pender explains how this year's conference will empower professionals.
Not only are there new trends, but there are better ways of doing business, smarter ways, using apps, digital platforms, okay, networking with persons or businesses that can make your job easier, okay, or smarter, I should say. So the panel that we have, or the selection of speakers that we have, LaShanta Smith speaking about content creation, how to build your social platforms, what to put out there, what not to put out there, okay? How do you drive traffic? Things like that, that's important.
Another major highlight of the event is a trade show taking place on February 2nd, where vendors will showcase the latest bridal couture, designs, and sustainable event planning practices. Jasmine Wright, owner of the Wright Dress and Trade Show Chair, emphasizes the importance of this platform for local businesses.
All vendors at the trade show are small business owners in the wedding industry, and the trade show provides them with a platform to possibly contract brides and grooms, so that assists with their business and their development in the wedding industry. This will be my third time as attending a Bahamas Bridal Association trade show, and I can attest that I have I've met many of my brides through the trade shows.
So whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, the Come for the Romance Conference and Trade Show is an event that can shape your future in the industry.
Sounds pretty interesting. Tamia Scherer has a new book, a different type of book. This book includes practical advice for nursing students. Our West College Forbes tells us about it.
A proud graduate of the University of the Bahamas nursing program has turned her years of hard work, dedication, and persistence into a piece of legacy. Tamia's latest work details her challenging journey through the nursing program at the University of the Bahamas, offering raw personal reflection and valuable advice for those in a similar situation.
Because I wanted to talk about my journey. I know that nursing is a very challenging career because, you know, if you look at the different careers, like out of the 10, nursing is one of the 10 top difficult careers to pursue. So I know a lot of nurses would start the journey and then they would stop. And so I wanted to encourage nursing students to say, keep on going, don't give up.
She opens up about her many obstacles she faced during her studies, including an emotional toll after failing a major exam and devastating loss.
And so I remember starting my journey, coming down to the end of my semester. My father passed away. He had cancer, and they told him that he had 6 months to live. And so imagine you come in towards graduation, you hearing your dad is about to die. And so he passed away in 4 months. Now I have to do my license, I have to take the council examination. And so the first time I take it, I did fail. I failed. And I told my parents, I told my mom during that time, I don't want to pursue this anymore. I came so far. This is study. You have theory. You got to go through so many different things, study for hours and stuff like that, and then you fail.
Throughout the book, Tamia includes practical advice for nursing students, such as strategies for managing stress, dealing with failure, finding balance between personal life and academic demands.
You're going to face challenges. But remember your why. Why did you start nursing? Why do you want to be a registered nurse? Because once you have your why, then you're going to keep moving forward. And we need a lot of nurses, okay? You have many persons that start the journey and say, it's difficult, it's not for me, and then they go on another career. But my encouragement is for many persons in the Bahamas to say, you know what? Keep pursuing your goal, your dream, stay focused, and in the end, you're going to become a registered nurse just like me.
And for those of you that would like a physical copy of the book, Tamia is working on the distribution to various bookstores. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Wes Calix Forbes.
Still to come, get your poosh ready. We're going to have a doggone good time. King of the Ring, Jaden Lockhart, is up later in the show. Stay close for that.
The Alive Business Cybersecurity Summit is a vital resource for Bahamian businesses to tackle the growing threats of cybersecurity by bringing together experts that's sharing actionable insights from regional and international perspectives. We'll be also showcasing cutting-edge solutions. It is a huge step towards creating a more secure, informed, and cyber-ready Bahamas. Secure your future. Join me at the Alive Business Cybersecurity Summit.
Ready to insure your ride? Our new website is ready for you. Visit jsjohnson.com. Go to About, select Coverages, go to Auto, and click Get a Quote. We've made it easier than ever to request a quote online. Fill in all the required fields. When you're done, hit Submit. You'll receive a response via email within 24 hours. Visit jsjohnson.com today.
Welcome back. You're looking at a shot of the soon-to-be-gone carnival out there on Fort Charlotte, the dream of all kiddies. Good shot there. Let's take a trip down to Harbor Island. Water rose on the island of Eleuthera, continuing to persist well into the new year as residents were left without the basic necessity for several days last week. The Water and Sewerage Corporation's Public Relations Manager, Nicolette Eldon, telling ZNS News yesterday that the water supply disruption occurred as a result of two main contributing factors.
First, the Bogue desalination plant has been limited to production from only 2 of its 3 desalination trains for several days. And second, there was a complete plant failure around 1 p.m. on Friday, January 10th, resulting in no water production until the early afternoon of Saturday, January 11th. We are pleased to report that production at the plant resumed at 1 p.m. on Saturday, January 11th, and water distribution is ongoing. However, some areas, particularly higher elevations on Harbor Island, are still experiencing fluctuating water supply and pressure due to system demand exceeding water availability at times.
Well, Desmond, King of the Ring Bahamas is fast approaching, and no, it's not a wrestling match. Jaden Lockhart, one of the organizers, joins us tonight to tell us what this big event is all about. Jaden, welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
Thank you for having me on.
So to end all of the mystery, what is this, this King of the Ring event all about?
All right, so King of the Ring, it's an all-breed dog show. We're having an international registry called ABR, that stands for All Breed Registry. They're located in Los Angeles, and we'll have judges from Los Angeles and also Michigan come down to the show. It's an all-breed show, so all dogs are welcome to come, even part cakes as well. And this is the show. This is an opportunity for all the dog breeders and dog lovers to come on down, especially people who are potential buyers and owners who want to have a dog as a fellow companion to be a part of it. And also we'll make it an educational event. So we'll have local vets, pet stores, dog groomers, dog trainers, everyone in the canine area to be a part of this big event.
Is this the first event of its kind in the Bahamas?
I actually had one in 2022. The name of it was Bullies in Paradise, but we want to do something kind of different where all breeds are recognized and able to come down and enter into the show.
And how many do you expect to participate in this event?
At the last show that we had in Bullies in Paradise, we had about 800 people attended the event. So I expect that number to double.
And what are some of the prizes? I know the prizes are big, right?
Yeah, the prizes are big. We have some cash prizes, iPhones, TVs, plane tickets.
All right, some pretty good prizes.
Yeah.
And how does one enter?
So you'd have to sign up to the ABR website, or you can come at the event and you can sign up there as well. And before you do that, for all dog owners who are coming down and bringing your pet, you would have to get your dog's license. The animal control unit will be there, so you don't have to worry about that. You can either license your dog in advance at the Ministry of Agriculture, or you can also do it at the event.
And remind, I guess, the public, the types of breeds that can enter as well.
So all the breeds that can enter are like Shih Tzus, Pomeranian, Cane Corsos, Rottweilers, American Bullies, Pit Bulls, Dobermans, all the breeds, even pot cake as well.
And where is it going to be taking place?
It's actually going to be at Oren Bailey Park, March 1st, and it starts at 12 p.m.
And you're excited about this event?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Jaden, all the best to you and
Thank
your
you.
team as you, I guess, spearhead your event.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Don't go anywhere. Amajal Knowles has a look at what's coming up in sports.
And GSSA basketball picking up after the holiday break. Details of that story coming up in sports.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Are you ready? 2025! Keep the Bible Live Music Group present KB. Well, you don't know me yet. KB and friends. The Boatman Show.
All you rake and scrape lovers out there, Saturday, February 1st, Keep the Bible Live Music Group invites you out to enjoy some Bahamian culture with KB and Friends in concert, The Boatman Show.
Saturday, February 1st at the Farm, Marshall Road.
Can't wait to see you there.
The legendary KB and Friends. Gino D. Colin McDonald. Irish Store and the Spank Band. The Falcons, Ancient Man, Mama D. Shine 242 and more.
KB and Friends in concert at the Farm, Marshall Road, Saturday, February 1st.
Tickets on sale at the Beauty Shack. Low location. General 50, VIP 80. And for the Platinum fans, exclusive skyboxes are available. Gates open at 7 p.m. For more info, call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Let's keep the Bible alive.
This breaking news just in. The Rundown with Clint Watson is heading to Washington, D.C. for Inauguration Day, and you don't want to miss it. Be there as The Rundown brings you all the sights and scenes of the presidential inauguration of number 47, Donald J. Trump. Advertisers, our DC promotional packages are competitively priced and now available to place your business on location and in the live show. Enjoy informative stories on DC politics, interviews with local politicos, and extraordinary Bahamians living in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia areas. The Rundown will bring it live and direct just for you. Call our ZNS sales department today at 502-3800 and book your package. We're off to Washington, D.C. because soon only the sun will cover the planet better. You know the rest.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs.
Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the Sunshine One.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
Tuesday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. Last week, we caught up with the local Swimming Federation president on concerns due to rising crime in Trinidad, as it is set to be the host of this year's Grifter Games. This week, we caught up with the local track president, B2A's President Jamiko Archer, explaining his concerns.
We have spoken with the authorities there, the head of the member federation. They're planning for the Grifter Games as planned. Yeah, like most countries around the region, we're faced with issues involving crime. But they claim for that to be a localized issue. It's not something that we see to be an imminent concern of ours. If it does come to that, we certainly will engage the Bahamas government. It then becomes a national security matter. But at this point, we're planning for the Grifter Games. We have a really, really strong team, and we're looking to do some damage in Trinidad.
Archer says providing the platform and opportunity for the athletes is paramount.
I'm not going to imperil any of our athletes. I mean, the welfare of our athletes is a premium concern for us. At this time, I'm not aware that we are in any imminent danger. So the stadium is, well, unlike swimming, where transportation becomes the major factor for them, where they commute more than an hour between hotel and competition site. Our competition site is just across the street, so the games village is maybe 5 to 10 minutes maximum away from the competition site. So I think that mitigates issues of security substantially, and I think that for us, there's more endangerment for swimming than it probably would be for track and field.
And that's when we look at your sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
Get to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, that's good enough to eat, that is good to grow. It's good enough to eat, that is good to grow.
The Department of Agriculture kicks off 2025 in Saudi Arabia, where officials travel to attend the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification Conference of the Parties 16th session, or COP16.
During this time, we covered topics such as desertification, land degradation, and drought, which affect so many countries around the world, including the Bahamas. I know many people wondered what was agriculture's role at this conference. We were actually invited by the Ministry of the Environment, which was led by Minister the Honorable Vaughan Miller, along with other members of his ministry. And agriculture is actually a part of it in the sense that of the 60% of land degradation caused by humans, 80% of that is caused by agricultural practices and activities.
That's Director of the Department of Agriculture, Dion Gibson, who added that multiple agricultural entities and individuals were present and participated in a number of discussions. One topic that hits close to home being drought. Some family islands, like Cat Island, experience long periods without rain, which ultimately affect its agricultural sector.
Drought is a topic that we all experience because due to our practices where for development we tend to clear-cut land. People don't realize that forested areas actually harbor or harness more rain because a lot of evaporation is done through evapotranspiration from tree leaves, which then encourages more rainfall. And one of the items that I actually presented on was the topic of using agroforestry or silvopasture to reverse the effects of drought and create forested areas for food production.
So how soon can we see projects like this taking place?
The Department of Agriculture will very soon be launching a agroforestry project here in New Providence. So we would do a prototype, a pilot site first, and then look into introducing it to islands such as Cat Island, Long Island, Acklins, and Inagua, southern islands, which do experience a lot more drought than we do in the northern islands, being much closer to the equator. So a date may not be available just yet, but definitely within this calendar year, we'll be looking into launching some pilot sites.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
For your access weather forecast, and we had a few light sprinkles here in the capital as an advancing cold front makes its way into the northwest Bahamas. A nice cool down will take place with a noticeable change in temperatures over the next couple of days. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Live Business, where you're always protected during the worst storms. Now, for the northwest and central islands tonight, right through Wednesday, the winds they're going to be north to northeast at 12 to 18 knots, the wave heights 3 to 6 feet. High tide will take place at 9 tonight. Expect another high tide at 9:21 tomorrow morning for the southeast Bahamas. The winds are going to be northeast at 10 to 50 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And then on Thursday in the northwest and central parts of the country, the winds become northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide on Thursday. That will occur at 10:02 in the morning with a low tide at 4:28 in the afternoon. For the southeast Bahamas on Thursday, a more zonal flow, that is winds from the east at 12 to 18 knots, the wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So we're asking small craft in the southeast Bahamas to exercise caution on Thursday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Deep in it. I hope you can handle it. I met this street potter, he was all in my face, always in my way, getting on my case. He'd follow me to breakfast, take me to lunch, get fired from Tribune, now he worked for the Punch. Now I must admit, he was a little cute, but I ain't give him no reason to go look at my birthday suit. You done all up in my business, now what you gonna do? I feel like statue.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned and enjoy them at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. Desmond and Ladon.
Good wrap up, Basil. Have you decided the ball or bridal show for you?
I'm not sure just yet, Desmond, but I'll let you know once the time draws near. You know what I mean? But I'm going to get my dress ready once I make that decision.
And I'll get my tux ready as well, okay? So both of us can go together.
Can go together. All right. Well, now I'm going to turn things over with Matea Cunningham with Let's Talk Socials.
Hi folks, Matea here, and on today's entry of your favorite social media segment, Let's Talk Socials, we're discussing the unhealthy and unrealistic desire to become a content creator and make bank immediately. As you know, a lot of Bahamian creatives are becoming content creators, wanting to showcase lifestyle, faith-based, personal, or even work-related content, just to name a few. This is cool, but the reality of content creating is that it can take some time to build a solid relationship with brands, therefore creating an opportunity for additional income, which we all want. The expectation for many is this. They begin their content creation journey, go viral a few times, and then boom, brands will flock to them, sending them free things and then paying them for receiving the free things. What a world. Bahamian content creator Tap talks directly to this mindset. Check it out.
Content creator who has less followers than me getting brand deals. This girl could get invited to
this event and not me.
That's some of y'all right there. But I'm gonna help out all my content creators, social media managers, micro-influencers who are trying to figure out why they're not being included in things, why they're not getting brand deals. I'm gonna just say, the first thing you're doing wrong, you're comparing yourself, and comparison is the thief of joy, so you'll always be unhappy. When you see others doing what you want to do, use this as an opportunity to be inspired by them. If she can do it, I can do it. Simply because they don't have the bravery to ask. You're sitting at home, entitled, waiting for brands to roll out the red carpet for you. You're not pitching, you're not reaching out. If you see my Gmail sent folder or my notes app, I have a list of companies that I reach out to. I call, I email. Who's the marketing manager? Can I get on this PR list?
Well, that's that. A reality check with the aid of tips. Did this shift your perspective on content creation? If you're aspiring to be in the field, will you try these tips? I'm Matea. See you beautiful people later.
Wow, interesting stuff.
Very
I like how this platform is just providing so many opportunities for our young people.
Very, very, very good opportunities there.
Great show.
Awesome show. I can't believe we're done already.
That's a wrap for Access Now. Stay tuned for the Rundown with Clint Watson. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care.
What does disability look like? In a busy airport terminal? At the check-in counter? At security checkpoints? Or even in baggage claim? Passengers with hidden disabilities often go unnoticed. Globally, 1 in 7 persons have some form of a disability. 80% of those disabilities are non-visible. In an airport environment, workers are often unaware of hidden physical, mental, or neurological disabilities that some passengers live with. This can lead to frustration and a less than ideal travel experience. So, how do we make the invisible more visible? At LPIA, we've implemented the Sunflower Lanyard program. The lanyards are visual cues for airport workers to immediately identify passengers who might need additional assistance. NAD is teaming up with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities and key stakeholders at LPIA to launch the internationally recognized initiative. We're joining more than 180 airports in 26 countries already in the program. NAD is the first organization in the Bahamas to recognize the Sunflower Initiative. It's a way to show our continued commitment to making LPIA a safe, welcoming, and inclusive airport for all. Passengers needing to secure a free Sunflower lanyard can email sunflower@nas.bs or call 1242-397-8600. For more information, visit www.nassauLPIA.com.
We've heard you. We know you're tired of the reruns. We're coming back, bigger and better, on The Legal Brief. I'm your host, Ramona Farquharson. Stay tuned.
At Rusty Bethel Drive, I'm Paiswell Forbes. This is ZNS.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
Good evening to all of you. Welcome to The Rundown. It's great to have all of you with us again. I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. We're back here second night. Of course, you know what's in the news. The government isn't playing with the Trade Union Congress of the Bahamas. All members under the Trade Union Congress umbrella attached to the Public Hospitals Authority and the Air Traffic Controllers Union must return to work. Now, the Attorney General filing an interim injunction. It was filed today, forcing those employees to return to work immediately. Now, those who refuse to comply will be held in contempt of court and liable to imprisonment or fine. Now, these developments have been really impacting the healthcare sector over the past 2 days. Other areas may not have seen an impact or of any kind of disturbance, but certainly the hospital has. Public Hospitals Authority Managing Director Dr. Arbonette Roll indicated at a press conference late this afternoon there were a few areas that had significant impact, in particular the Princess Margaret Hospital's emergency room. Now, tonight, the Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, he is here. He will join us at this desk to provide further details on the injunction and what's next for the national health care sector, what their issues and concerns are, and how is he advancing what's happening in the healthcare sector. We want to remind you that the TUC protest, though, was said to only last 2 days. So it would be the last day today. To get better clarification on this action, our news team did contact Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson earlier today for an interview, but we understand he was, shall I say, reluctant to give us a response. He did, though, opt to speak with other private media houses instead. Now, we assume that's because of our show last night. He must perhaps be in his feelings. It is what it is, and it comes with the territories. And so, if he doesn't want to respond to the national network, doesn't have to. The people will make the determination based on the information that they have. So, meantime, other activists and some hope to be candidates for members of parliament are sounding off. I wonder, well, you probably didn't, because she has only a circle of supporters and people who would tune in. But Maria Daxon of the Coalition of Independents, and that's normally a name you would never hear me call on this show, but she believes, get this, she believes the country should be shut down by unions. She released a voice note agitating, literally begging, literally demanding and decrying to the unions to bring the country pretty much to its knees and shut it all down. Now, you would say, why am I taking time out to talk about what she did? Because I believe, you know, while her voice notes continues, and she probably will do one tomorrow morning about me, perhaps, by the way, anyway, because she loves to talk about me or ZNS with half-truths. But nonetheless, the reason why I'm giving her a few seconds of fame is because I think the responsibility of those who want to lead and serve this country is really far and few. Because when you believe that for your selfish gain of wanting to remove one from office and put another one in office, that you should bring the country to its knees by shutting it down, it makes us wonder, if you were to be, for some strange reason, elected, how would you manage? How would you manage being elected and serving in public office if you don't understand the art of talking and negotiating, but you want the country to suffer? Do we have that soundbite? I asked them to get a portion of what she said in a voice note this morning. Do we have that? Let's go ahead and play that. Maria Daxon. Okay, it's coming. All right, it's not, it's still getting it. I told them to get it, but I wanted you to hear a piece of it because we have to be more responsible when we use social media for our advocacies and when we want to voice our views and so forth, because at the end of the day, we have a responsibility all as Bahamians. We live in this country and we want the best for our country. And while we may all have needs, while we may want to ensure that unions' voices are heard and their demands certainly are met within reason, we also want to make sure that our country survives and people can function. And I wonder if we understand the consequences of, quote, shutting it down. Go ahead and play a portion of her voice note. Maria Daxon.
Shut this country down. Huh? This PLP government ain't signing those checks for y'all workers in this country. Listen to me. Y'all need to go get Shane Gibson. Huh? Let let Shane Gibson advise you how to shut this country down. Look here. You won't get too much union leaders in this country. And it looks like the more union you all get in the country, the weaker you all get. Huh? The Burma old riot had that much unions like this. You all younger generation, you all playing with this government. Huh? You see how much unions you all got in this country? You all better go join up with Omer Ferguson. You all sit down and strategize. Boy, if I was a part of these unions, listen, somebody would have taken the East, somebody would have taken the West, the North and the South, huh? Shut this country down.
Okay, so as you can hear, she's even chiding the unions that, listen, y'all ain't serious. Because if you were real unions, as in the back in the day, you would have, you know, like the Burma riot. So again, you know, probably agitating for another riot to happen. I always tell people, when history is history because of what it did and what it did for the people. And not everything that you see in history means go ahead and repeat it again. I ain't going no further than that. Because it's for a time, a place, and a season. And a cause, right? And when you call for riots, when you call for shutting down the country, are you thinking about the people whose lives are going to be impacted when you shut down a country and the amount of loss, the amount of revenue the country will lose, the amount of impact, the impact that it will have on our country? You talk about shutting it down. You're talking about closing the hospital? So what about people whose loved ones are in there needing dire care? Are you trying to say they should just sit there and die because you shut it down? Are you saying the people who are trying to transact business or who are trying to come into the country and we need border protection because our immigration officers have to be in the front line, our customs officers to be there to collect the country's revenue, and they're not there? What do you say? Just shut down commerce and allow the country to suffer? I wonder if people are really thinking about the words that they're uttering and agitating in the name of, oh, for the people. If you're for the people, then where in your demand to shut it down have you said, let's talk to make sure the people get their needs met? Where in your dialogue are you saying, let's come together and resolve the challenges and discuss the hard things and find solutions so that we can move forward? Instead of calling for peace, instead of calling for order and calm, instead of calling for open dialogue, she's agitating to just shut it down and maybe even riot if you need to, like the Burma riot. It's concerning to me because these are people that want to represent our country in the future. And if that's what the future looks like, what options do we have for peaceful, professional dialogue and resolution? Not take anything away from the unions. I fully support and believe that the rights of workers ought to be addressed. I'll say it again. I fully support and believe that the rights of workers ought to be addressed and that which is owed to workers ought to be paid. It's difficult. Trust me, I can tell you about it. Sometimes you wonder how you're going to find the money because it's hard, but it's an agreement. These are industrial agreements that have been signed, and they ought to be honored. Now, of course, due to all kinds of circumstances and backlogs, bringing it current is hard. We heard the Minister of Labor talk about last night that some of the things that come up every quarterly in their meetings, they continue to come up because they're hard to solve and they're age-old problems that you require that if you go ahead and approve it, you got to go ahead and pay the backlog, which is millions of dollars. And we, the people, are the ones who are funding government. So if government is going to need millions of dollars to put in the hands of many of these workers, it's going to come from the people who are paying the taxes, the people who are paying the money. So it's a difficult thing, and all sides have to come together to reconcile and to understand. It's not an easy thing, but governance is never easy. Governance is about making the tough decisions and coming up with the right solutions to make sure that the people of your country are taken care of and they benefit, but you're also able to run your country effectively and efficiently. And the bottom line of all of this is what? Money. It takes money. Now, if the people don't want to see taxes increase, if the people don't want to see money or more taxing derived, it has to come from somewhere. Now, I agree, there are ways to cut back on spending so that the necessary funding can be available to take care of the needs of the people. But is that enough? And is that really what the question is here? Let's talk about it and come up with a solution and find out how to fix it, rather than making irrational calls for destruction of our nation that we all have to live in after this is over. Wise decisions. So I challenge and encourage those who are in the public domain with voice notes and on social media that we take our personal politics out of it, everybody, that we take our personal views out of it, and let's look out for what's best for our country. That's important. Should probably clap back, but it's all right. It's not an attack on anyone. It's to point out that we have to be very careful how we address what we address in our country and speak to the issues, be the advocate for the people, but make responsible comments. Shutting it down doesn't solve it. It makes it worse. All right, so tonight, we'll take a look at what is going on in particularly the healthcare, which I believe it's safe to say, I think the hardest hit with this is our healthcare sector because doctors are not to work and the healthcare sector is feeling it. And I'm concerned about that because the most vulnerable are those who are needing medical attention. The Minister of Health is here, Health and Wellness. He's here. We'll talk to him after the break. And then a little later, we're going to talk about helping those in need, taking it even a step further. The head of Great Commission Ministries is here as well to talk about that. It's an interesting show. But right after the break, Dr. Michael Tarville, the Minister of Health. Boy, wouldn't want to be in his shoes tonight, but he can handle it. His shoes are big. We're back after this. This is The Rundown.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Pipe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks, so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our services are affordable and accessible. Take the mystery, confusion, and fear out of your immigration concerns. Contact Immigration Care Service today.
The United States of America just voted in its 47th president, Donald J. Trump, and we're packing our bags and heading to Washington, D.C. to be there on Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2025. The stage is set, and here's your opportunity to be a part of this historic journey when you sign up for one of our affordable advertising packages. Your business will be included in our live on-location news stories in the National Report and Access Now. And that's not all. The Rundown with Clint Watson will also air live from Washington, D.C. Thought we were done? Not yet. Our dynamic social media teams will be in D.C. as well, giving you live, interactive, up-to-the-minute updates as it all unfolds. Don't delay. Call our sales department now at 502-3800 and reserve your exclusive D.C. package. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you all set? Well, let's hop on that flight. You know we always have you covered, because only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back to The Rundown. It's good to have all of you with us. Those of you joining us on YouTube and of those on the line and on Facebook, I see you all. It's good to have all of you with us, especially I see on the line, Terry Pinder says, I'm watching from North Eleuthera. Good night, North Eleuthera. Good night, Terry. Good to have you joining us in the discussion. And listen, this is important, and we all know the importance of health. Health is wealth, and the nation relies on the government to provide adequate and quality health care on every island in the country. It's a tall order to do. Health and Wellness Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, he agrees. He joins us tonight to shed more light on that injunction filed today for healthcare staff to return to work, and also to talk about the healthcare sector. Dr. Darville, welcome to The Rundown. Good to have you.
Thanks to be here, Clint, and Happy New Year to your listening audience.
So let's jump right into it, because I hate to shudder and think if the hospital and our healthcare facilities aren't able to operate at peak. We already know when we do have everybody in at peak, the challenges that are on our healthcare sector. And now with this action, what is happening? How is the PMH, our major institution, how is it faring?
Well, first of all, Clint, I want to thank all of the healthcare workers that stepped in beyond the call of duty, because without their help, I think the situation would have been a lot worse. Healthcare is a difficult situation, not only in the Bahamas, but throughout the region. And there are shortages of healthcare professionals across the region as a result of the mass recruitment that's taking place by the developed countries. It has left the Bahamas in a situation where we are constantly working diligently to ensure we provide these services. The industrial dispute that took place definitely affect us in a very serious way. And as we speak, we're still experiencing some challenges at our acts in emergency, because the injunction clearly indicate that workers should be in their positions at the appropriate scheduled time. And so we're now moving to try to bring other physicians and healthcare workers, particularly at our acts in emergency, to ensure that the services are provided not only at quality standards, but at a reasonable time.
How bad has it gotten over the past 2 days? When you talk, are there numbers or the figures as to how many doctors didn't come in? How bad was it?
It was terrible, and today we spoke about some of the numbers. Yesterday, we had about 90% of our junior doctors who did not show.
90% didn't show up?
90% didn't show up, and it went a bit worse today at about 98%.
98 today didn't show up?
Absolutely, and of course, I want to thank our nursing staff, because the numbers were not so extensive, and the consulting doctors, there was a high proportion of doctors who didn't show up for their position as well.
How does that impact the hospital and the ability to deal with healthcare?
Anytime you have manpower shortages, healthcare delivery systems are impacted in a negative way. Services take longer to get, and patients are the ones who usually suffer because they cannot see a healthcare professional. I'm very pleased to report that those who were at our acts in emergency tonight and last night, they went beyond the call of duty. And I want to commend them for their acts of love and desperation to ensure that services are provided. And so we were severely impacted, and the injunction was necessary to get essential healthcare workers back on the job and to do it in a timely fashion so that we can provide the services that the Bahamian people demand us to do.
I'm going to be very open. I've been an advocate for the doctors union for many years, because I've interviewed them on my previous shows and fought for them when they were out in the rain under the previous administration, walking the pavement, and I felt for them because I didn't feel that doctors should have to advocate to be taken care of and to be compensated. I don't think that should have to happen. However, I'm concerned when people's lives are at risk and people don't come to work because of issues and industrial issues, that could potentially be life-threatening to somebody in the hospital.
Well, I agree with you, Clint. Sometimes even for their own loved ones, because no one knows when sickness or illness will come. And it could be an accident, it could be their loved one, it could be my loved one, it could be your loved one who presented to the hospital, and at the accident emergency, the physicians are not there to take care of them. So it is a challenge. But when we look at the challenges that are currently faced with our healthcare professionals, there are many. And this is the reason why I believe I have an open door policy where I listen to concerns for healthcare workers. I believe they should be properly compensated. And I believe the issues associated with them and their families should be addressed as well. But I do not agree with industrial action. I believe we should stay at the table and resolve the issues. That's my personal opinion.
So I'm glad you opened that door, because I want to go right into there. Why do we still have doctors agitating to get what's owed to them? What is the main issue here for healthcare providers that there seems to not be a resolve?
It is a complex issue, and it goes beyond my term as minister. Some of these issues are legacy issues, and it is very complicated to resolve. Negotiations sometimes reach a point where there's stalemate. There are demands that may supersede the ability of the government at a particular time to supply. The Ministry of Finance is actively involved in negotiations with all financial matters. But for us at the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the PHA, we are constantly negotiating with our doctors. We want them to be comfortable. We want them to be in a good working environment. We want them to be able to provide quality services for our patients. But the negotiations are sometimes very complicated and take years to resolve. I'm pleased to report that much of the challenges that both the junior and senior doctors have, we are prepared to address them. There are some key issues that has some financial ramifications that has created some delays, but I'm pleased now the injunction is in place. They are supposed to be back to work, and we want to work very diligently to resolve these issues, work closely with finance so that our doctors can be happy and these issues can go behind us.
It always seems to be the bureaucracy of the public service that seems to stifle progress. And when I say that, I mean the political will by ministers and governments seem to oftentimes be there, and this is consecutive administrations, but it's the slow-moving wheel of bureaucracy in the public service that seems to stall. And to be honest with you, people in the public service with their own agendas that seem to stall progress. For example, if you, the Minister of Health, are saying that, listen, we want to see our doctors comfortable. I want to see doctors compensated at a certain position that they can do their job. You're saying that I'm standing in agreement with doctors, and I can understand why. You're a physician yourself. Yeah. And you're around the table and saying, yes, I agree, this is due to you. And then you now have to go to another place in government to say, listen, this needs to happen for them, but the wheels of motion are turning slower there. It stifles you from getting satisfaction for the people that you are leading.
I think that's a relatively good point, Clint. And when we look at the public service and the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Department of Public Health, our employees fall under that umbrella. And when you look at the PHA is an authority that has its own board, it has its own HR department, and many of the issues fall directly with them. So with the PHA, things can move a bit faster because public service is more bureaucracy. And so the Ministry of Health is caught in this web where I have employees that work with the ministry and are governed by the rules and regulations of the public service. And then I have employees with the Public Hospitals Authority that is regulated by their board and their own HR department. So we work together to address many of the issues across the board in health, while at the same time going to the Ministry of Finance, which is the public purse, to say that these new rules and regulations can impact the Ministry of Finance in this particular way. What is your input? And this is where the wheels begin to slow down, because this is where the real negotiation comes and the arbitration to find the sweet spot to satisfy union and satisfy the public purse.
I do feel for unions, and I'll tell you why I say feel for unions. people get tired of coming to the table talking about the same thing over and over. You know, the saying that says, if you are doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, is called insanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I understand and I feel for unions who constantly come to the table. And every administration, it's the same discussion, the same issue, the same problems we're having. This is what we need fixed. And there's this the response that, okay, we can deal with it. And then you go to the powers that be or the bureaucracy, and then the wheels take slow. And before you know it, 5 years is up, and you're either out and somebody else is in, and they go through the same process. I understand why unions get tired, because they're going through the same manner of expressions with every administration, every term, and when the 5 years are up and it doesn't continue, it is a new administration, and you go through the wheels of motions all over again, trying to bring them up to speed on what happened and what didn't happen. It is frustrating for workers and unions to keep every 5 years saying the same story, giving you the same list of what our issues are, every 5 years to a new administration and not getting any further. So I see the frustration. And so my question then is this, or I don't even know if it's a question, I want to get your input on it. And I've said it before. The Bahamas signs millions of dollars in new investments for some of the wealthiest people in the world. Why are we not attaching to these heads of agreements a committal tax for the development in the same country you want to make your millions in for healthcare, for sports, for education, for cultural development? Why are we not taxing on these heads of agreements a percentage that will go towards developing and paying a lot of this backlog, taking care of a lot of this debt that are financial matters for a lot of our people? Why are we not allowing the millions and the rich people around the world who want to invest in the Bahamas to not help us handle the debt if the government does not have the money?
Well, when we look at the Ministry of Investments, a lot of our heads agreements have been changed over the years to bring resources from direct foreign investment to assist with the development of our country. I must commend the Deputy Prime Minister, the entire team, and the Prime Minister, because I sit at the table when we discuss lots of these heads of agreement. So over the last few years, there has been many changes in order for us to be able to maximize direct foreign investment in our country. The precise thing you talk about on trying to get funding for unions, that is something we probably need to look at.
Yeah.
But I think it's a reasonable idea. And so I believe we need advice. It's always good to listen to third parties to get advice.
Well, that's free tonight. I give you that free.
Hey, listen here, we appreciate that.
I give you that free tonight.
And it's something that I believe is worthwhile looking at. But with that being said, many other aspects of direct foreign investment and the development of our country is taken into consideration in our new...
I want to talk about that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about that, because my question is going to be, and I'll give you time to think about it, so I'll give it to you now. If we are challenged with funding and taking care of who we have now, with a new hospital, an expanded healthcare sector, how are we going to be able to take care of it? I'll let you answer that after the break. You're watching The Rundown. We're back after this.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the Sunshine World.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
by giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought was a wonderful way of showing this love. And I believe that it is love that truly draws people. And so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
Welcome back to The Rundown. My guest tonight in this segment, of course, is the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville, taking the hard questions because we're trying to find solutions in this country, and the best way to find solutions is to talk about it, right? Because no one has all the answers. All of us talking and suggesting things help make our country better, and that's what we need to do more of. Solutions, not talking about the problems or beating down people or attacking people, but let's find a way to find the solutions that work because we want to make our country better. And before the break, Dr. Darville, I ask you, if we're challenged now meeting the financial commitment to the doctors that we do exist, that we do have, and we're challenged now because we're competing with the world who wants our doctors and our healthcare professionals, how then do we expand our, and I must say, we need to expand our healthcare. The country is growing by leaps and bounds. What PMH was able to do back then is pittance compared to what we need now. We need another hospital. We need more hospitals. You've seen that vision and you're trying to do just that. But how are you going to staff it if we're challenged right now with meeting the demands of the personnel that exist?
Well, that's an excellent question because there's a shortage of healthcare workers globally. The Caribbean is impacted, not only the Bahamas, from Trinidad all the way north. Everyone's feeling this demand on healthcare workers, and the world is recruiting in our region. So we have to have a plan. Our plan in healthcare is short, medium, and long term. The short-term plan was to go in and do an inventory to see where the deficits are and begin now to fill those deficits with local healthcare professionals, and if they're not in the country, we bring them in to assist us. That stabilizes the healthcare system. While that's happening, we must start training. And to produce a nurse takes you about 5 years. So these are not assets that you could train in 6 months.
Right.
These are specialized assets, so you have to train. So training is paramount to begin now to ensure that you have Bahamians who could fill these positions. Then we look at infrastructure. It's crumbling. Most of our healthcare infrastructure has been in existence back in the 1950s.
Doc, I saw some of the clinics on Family Islands, and you wonder, this is where people go if they're sick?
Absolutely. And so my mandate as the Minister of Health was to assess all of our primary healthcare facilities, and I'm pleased to report that we are out throughout the Family Islands repairing them.
We see them?
Absolutely. So if you were to go to Andros, anywhere you see my facilities upgraded. We're upgrading a digital platform to ensure that we're able to bring telemedicine and do a better job in managing inventory and other aspects associated with clinic management. Likewise in our hospitals. Coming out of COVID-19, we found a hospital collapsing. And so our job was to go in and repair. And we are continuing to repair those facilities while we move to new greenfield sites. I'm pleased to report that our facility in Grand Bahama Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the healthcare campus should be completed by the latter part of this year.
Wow.
Absolutely.
It's moving that fast.
It's moving very well, and for anyone, they can go and see it. And very shortly, we will break ground on our specialty hospital here. Our town hall meetings made it very clear that the need for a new specialty hospital exists, but we must make sure that the spaces left behind at the Princess Margaret Hospital are repaired and are in good working operations so that our staff and patients can be in a decent environment. How are we going to fund this? Every year as minister, I go to the Ministry of Finance for a budget for healthcare, which is public health, the PHA, and national health insurance. National health insurance is the way forward for the country. We have to find another financial mechanism to be able to sustain healthcare delivery systems throughout the country.
Doc is important. Let me tell you why. I can pause right there and tell you. Healthcare in this country is becoming so unaffordable that the burden on the public health sector is going to continue to increase because people cannot afford insurance, they cannot afford private health care. Right. So they're going to be forced to migrate to the public health sector. And that means if we don't have a stronger system, the quality of health care for our own citizens is going to deteriorate and people are going to die.
It is absolutely right, Clint. Our job as the gatekeepers for healthcare is to ensure that we move our healthcare system from where it is now into the 21st century. I want the Bahamian people to know that a lot of the shocks that you're currently experiencing in healthcare is an indication of a tsunami that will come in years to come. So it is our job as healthcare planners, as healthcare managers, as government to ensure that we prepare the country to prevent this catastrophic event that's going to take place in healthcare. And I want the Bahamian people to know that in our plan, infrastructure development is taking place. We have started our training for healthcare workers. We're trying to find ways to be able to purchase more affordable drugs, more affordable supplies, so that we can provide the essential services, so that our medical, surgical interventions, as well as our gynecological and obstetric cases can be handled in a modern, structured environment so that our Bahamian people can get the care they deserve.
What about people who are fighting cancer?
Yes.
I cannot tell you. My heart bleeds and aches because in this country, people who are diagnosed with cancer, the reason why people, I think, see it as a death sentence is because in this country, if you get diagnosed with cancer and you don't have money, it is so hard to survive because what people charge for chemotherapy and treatment, you give up. Because where do you get the health care from if you don't have insurance? Is there anything in the plan to ensure that people can live when they get these catastrophic diagnoses?
Clint, this is a challenge throughout the developing world. The cost of drugs and the necessary interventions to address chronic cancers and debilitating diseases. The science is becoming so sophisticated and modern. All chemotherapy drugs are now on the back burner, and we have all of these immunotherapies. Some of them can run up to $10,000, $15,000 a vial.
Wow.
But the outcomes are almost magical because it is completely modern.
Wow.
What we are doing in cancer therapy is, and I want to speak to Grand Bahama because when we open the first phase of that facility, we will have our oncology center for the first time in Grand Bahama. Many people can't wait for that to happen.
Because right now, many of them have to come to the...
Exactly.
They have to come to the capital for treatment.
Exactly. And what we want to do is we want to take the Grand Bahama Health Services and the Rand Memorial Health Services up to the necessary tertiary level that it needs to operate in and provide services for the northern region. But cancer and the cause of chemotherapy and cancer drugs are extremely high. We are, through National Health Insurance, through our catastrophic interventions and providing the necessary basic package, will ensure that oncology services are incorporated in the essential package associated with National Health Insurance. That is the direction we're heading in. And I want the Bahamian people to know that by way of National Health Insurance and with the full implementation of our basic package, every citizen in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas will become a private patient. That's where we're going.
Say that again, doctor. Say that again, Dr. Darva.
National Health Insurance, with the full implementation of the basic healthcare package, will move the Bahamas from where we are today, where every citizen in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas will become a private patient. That is our journey, and we are mandated to meet that journey by the Pan American Health Organization by the year 2030.
Wow.
But we are trailblazing in the Caribbean, and I am sure that with the political will that we currently have and the support from our private and public healthcare partners, we will be able to provide an element of catastrophic care and then move into our basic healthcare package, where we will find a new funding mechanism.
That's it.
Where we will not be tied in with the public purse at the Ministry of Finance, but everyone in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas will have to contribute a little, and for us to use those resources effectively to provide these essential services.
I must ask you about the organ transplant program. Where are we with that?
The organ transplant program is presently at a standstill for 2 or 3 reasons. One of the challenges we have is when we looked at the program, most of the insurance companies like to do organ transplant in centers of excellence. And so as we're preparing our staff for the transplant, we are moving closer towards it, but it requires more training. And the reality of the organ transplant program is that with the amount of dialysis patients we currently have in the country, the demand is now extremely high, and we are in discussions with local experts as well as international partners to activate the program that may start initially out of the country and eventually migrate back into the country, because everyone is asking for centers of excellence. And when you put a new program together, it takes a while to get to that level. So we are working, but the program itself is not moving as fast as we would like to.
I see somebody's asking online, and I got to bring this up because I know about this. Someone is saying online, still waiting to get my eyes fixed. Any update, please talk. They want to know about the eyes program.
Well, I'd like to speak about the eye program. I thought it was very, very effective. We were working very closely with the Cuban government, and we were sending about 50 people a week to Cuba, fully covered by the catastrophic health line in my ministry.
That's amazing.
And we provide ELIF, we provide accommodation, we provide surgery, we provide
free of charge.
Free of charge.
Wow.
For individuals who qualified. What happened with that program? The Cuban government had a challenge with their power grid, and it put the program in jeopardy. I'm pleased to report that that program will be reactivated again. And we also have another program that we're working closely with the Chinese government. That program is moving. I think it should start in about 3 months. And that will also provide services for cataract and retinal surgeries for Bahamians who are not ambulatory and who have to be at home. But for those who have been waiting diligently for cataract surgeries, I want to let you know that the program is still activated. It has been put on hold short term, and we are in negotiations with the Cuban government to reactivate that program ASAP.
Doc, as we wrap up, I will have to ask you, obviously, doctors are expected to be back to work tomorrow. What is the way forward to this resolve?
Well, first of all, I'd like to speak to the doctors who were in the industrial dispute. I want to let you know that the government is very keen on bringing these issues to an end. We have an open policy, particularly at my office, as well as the Public Hospitals Authority, to address the very few complicated issues that resulted in individuals calling in sick. I want to let the Bahamian people know that we want to do what's best for our doctors. We want them to be comfortable, we want them to be in a good working environment, and we want to work together. We don't want to have disputes going on in our facility. It's not good for providing healthcare services. For the Bahamian people, we are pleased that the injunction now makes sure that we have physicians and healthcare workers in place so we can provide services. For those who had clinic appointments that had to be postponed and rescheduled, we have a team that we're going to put together to reach back out to those individuals who need immediate support. And lastly, we want all of our clinics throughout the Family Islands to be operating at an optimal level so we can detect diseases in their early stages and address the issues associated with chronic non-communicable diseases throughout the country. And so I'm looking forward to come out of this emergency mode that we're presently in and get back into the business of providing primary, secondary, and tertiary healthcare services throughout the country.
Dr. Darville, thank you for taking time. I know it's busy and it's a tall balancing act, but thank you for the resolve and the wherewithal to fight and to continue going. Thank you again for being on the Rundown.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Bahamas.
When we come back tonight, we're going to talk to Bishop Walter Hanchel, no stranger, of course, the man behind Great Commission Ministries, and of course talk about the fact that there's so many in need and how they're being able to address the need that it's in this country. We're back after this. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Hello friends, I'm Mario Nuri, inviting you to the next A Familiar Walk as we walk down memory lane with our program over the years. Memories are the key not to the past but to the future. So join us with former Governor Generals Dame Ivy Dumont, Sir Orville Turnquest, Sir Arthur Foulkes, former Prime Minister Perry Christie, and former Deputy Prime Minister and now Governor General Dame Cynthia Pratt. At every phase of our life, we make memories that we cherish all our lives, and we ask you to join us for a few of ours.
It's a joy, to help someone who is in need,
I'm proud to know that we are able to accommodate them with a hot meal, fresh meal, and a well-balanced meal.
A lot of our clients, as you know, it's in the inner city, and persons who really and truly and so much have lost their jobs. And for whatever reason, 2 months, 3 months, they really don't have anything.
You have to have some kind of kindness to do this.
Welcome back to The Rundown. We're in our final segment for tonight. And of course, we're talking about something that is very crucial and important in our country. Live to give. That's the mantra of Great Commissions Ministry. If you live here in the capital, you would see those in need lined up at the organization's Wolf Road headquarters to get food, water, living accommodations, and even just advice. It was established in 1987. CEO Bishop Walter Henschel has been leading the charge to feed, shelter, and empower the needy. So, while some of us only do it one day out of the year or 1 week out of the year, and we feel we should get a pat on the back for doing good, they do it every day of the year. He's joining us now on The Rundown to talk about it. Bishop Henschel, welcome to The Rundown.
Thank you, Clint. It's good to be here.
The needs still exist?
Oh, to a great extent.
Wow.
Yep.
It's gotten far worse, I call it, because of course it is worse when you can't eat and find food. It's become a challenge.
I'll tell you how bad it has gotten in recent months. Nowadays, people start lining up at 7 o'clock for a plate of food at 12 o'clock or a bag of grocery. That's how bad it's gotten.
Wow. And this is not just people who just want to take advantage of the fact that it's free food. These are people who sincerely need it.
People come from Fox Hill to Wolf Road, all over. And we average right now about 600 meals per day.
Per day?
Per day, every day. That's like conducting 3 banquets. We do that every day, and every day it's a miracle to feed those persons. And I must say that the reports that I'm getting, Great Commission Ministries has the best food on the island, even better than many restaurants.
Wow.
And it's tasty, it's healthy, and we give a good portion every day because the clients that come to us every day, many of them, that's the only solid meal they would have all day. And we count it a privilege and a joy to be able to serve those people. To me, they're very special. I believe God has called us to take care of the poor, and that is what we do. We feed the homeless and we shelter. We feed the hungry and we shelter the homeless. That is what we do. That is what Great Commission Ministries is all about.
It's one thing to feed people every day, Bishop Henschel, but is there some program to move people from this dependency to self-sufficiency where they won't need it anymore? How do we do that so that it's years down the line, the same people aren't coming every day for meals, but they're in a better position?
That's a good question that we've been working on that for years. But I'll tell you what most people don't understand. The fact that we have different levels of poverty. We have people who are poor, who have no job, no skills, bad work ethics, and nobody would hire them. And then we have people who are working. Many of them are government workers.
Wow.
I call them the working poor. They get a salary, maybe $1,500, $2,000 a month.
But it's maxed out.
80% of that goes directly to the bank, and they have $300, $400 to live off for the entire month. So that's a reality that we have to deal with. And not only that, put on top of that the cost of living in the Bahamas. Now that's where it really gets bad. The cost of living is so high. I think about a year ago, the Bahamas was number 5 in the entire world in terms of the cost of living. And the cost of living is high, the cost of doing business is high, the cost of rental units is extremely high.
Yeah, and people are now intentionally making them high so they can just save them for Airbnbs.
It's not just that. That's a factor. But even in areas where there are no Airbnbs, the rent has gone up, just like everything else has gone up. The cost of everything. I bought a folder yesterday, a report folder, and it cost me $7.15. I was paying $1.95 for that same folder a year ago. $7.15. So it's not just the cost of food, it's the cost of products, everything. You know, the 5% VAT, I really appreciate that. And that, I want to commend the Prime Minister for that reduction. That helps in particular the very, very poor. But the truth of the matter is, the VAT helps, but the problem is not the VAT. The problem that I observe is the cost of the product. Because if a product was costing, for example, you go in the food store, if it was costing $4 and it's up to $9, $10, then the VAT wouldn't make a big difference.
It's only a small percentage.
Yeah, it's only a small percentage.
It's a marginal increase on the product.
Right, but the problem is the cost of that product to the public.
But do you believe it's generally bought at a higher cost, or do you believe it's just the markups that we're seeing? Because a lot of these wholesale companies are being given concessions and supports. So why is it not being passed on to consumers?
Greed. I think it's the markup.
Yes. Yes.
In most cases, it's the markup.
It's the markup.
So I believe the government has to find a way to get them to bring the prices down for the sake of the small man, the average person. And the high prices don't affect the rich. It affects the middle class and the poor. And I represent them, and I speak on their behalf, and I've been advocating for the poor and the middle class for 30 years. And we had some results, but in recent years, the prices just went through the roof. We don't know what to do.
It was a vision of the late Minister of Social Services, Obi Wilscombe, who had envisioned opening up at social services its own food market, its own food barracks, and they would buy in bulk as a government where they can get those discounted prices, especially on meat. Cut out the wholesaler. Just buy containers of these foods directly from the producers and sell them at face value cost.
At cost price.
In a food store run by social services, so that people can cut out all those middlemen, all those markups, all the VAT, all those other things, and sell it at cost. And unfortunately, he passed, and it was never able to see that come to fruition. But I thought it was an amazing idea, because at the end of the day, if our great retailers and the big food chains aren't going to be able to give us the relief that people need to see, then you got to make some radical decisions so that people can afford to feed their families.
Clint, if somebody would take the challenge and do what Obi had planned to do, they would be a national hero in this country.
Yeah.
Because I have never seen so many people struggling and hurting as I've seen in the last year, maybe year and a half. And it's across the board, all over. Mostly the middle class. People cannot afford to buy food. And if you can't buy food, you know, you're delving into poverty, and we know poverty causes a lot of other social problems, like crime. Crime increases when people cannot eat, when people cannot afford to feed their family, and it's hard. So I believe that we could do some things. You asked about why do we feed these people? We feed them because they have to eat,
right?
And if they don't eat, they can cause a lot of problems. People come to us every day angry, frustrated, bitter. They sometimes they're so frustrated they just get beyond themselves, and we have to try to control the crowd. And I realize it's because they're hurting so badly. Yesterday we did our boots on the ground, walking through the neighborhood around in the Wolf Road area. We do it every Monday. We launched that officially yesterday, and we're going to do it boots on the ground for 52 weeks. We went into homes. Most of those homes, no food in the house. 5 and 6 children with a mother, maybe a boyfriend, sitting around. And this thing that we talk about, persons not wanting to work, yes, we have a percentage that don't want to work. But we also have a lot of people who want to work but cannot work. You know, they have this thing called discouraged workers.
Discouraged workers.
I believe that figure is higher than what it's supposed to be, because with me on the ground, I'm seeing a lot of people want to work, they just cannot find the jobs.
Right.
And we know that tourism is booming right now, and that's good for the country, but we got to make sure, find a program.
It's got to filter to everybody.
Exactly.
Other people. It has to filter out. I totally agree with you. We have to keep Great Commissions ministries operating. And the best way for us to do that is to be able to support with our finances and with goods. What are some of the things that you need? You know, obviously money, but we've got to also give, people may not have money, what else can you use?
We cook about 200, 250 pounds of meat every day. Wow. Every single day. So we always need meat. We always need groceries. Our pantries, we can fill that up, and it's filled for 2 or 3 days. After that, the stock is depleted. Right. We have to keep getting food in every single day, every week, 2 or 3 times a week, because the food is going out so fast, so quickly. People come to us and they line up looking not just for a plate of food, but because they have nothing at home, they want a bag of grocery.
Something to carry with them.
Yes, and we accommodate them as much as we could, but we are stretched to the limit. And I want to thank those persons who support us. We have our regular supporters. It's not sufficient. We need more supporters, but there's so many people that are so compassionate that help us to make sure that we can have food to provide for those people who are really, really needy. And that's what Great Commission is all about.
Bishop Angelo, thank you for taking on the big charge of feeding people who are in need and reaching souls throughout this country. It's been your life. It's been your life, your wife's life. And so our country, we salute you in what you're doing, and wherever we can help, wherever you can help. Instead of talking about the problems, let's be a part of the solutions in our country. You never know when you may have a dark day and may need to stop by and pick up a meal as well. So please, let's help. Whatever donation you can do, let's reach out to Great Commission Ministries and help them to continue every day providing meals for those who are in need and providing that support system. Bishop Angelo, thank you for coming on the show tonight and talking to us.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
Good to be here.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That's our show tonight for The Rundown. Be sure to stay locked on the ZNS network for the Bahamas tonight at 11. It's the final newscast in the country with the latest news and information with Royston Jones. I didn't see Royston. He's here. Get ready for the 11 o'clock news. So stay tuned for that. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks for joining us. Good night. At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
Thou shalt not kill, the sixth commandment that God has given us. Unfortunately, many in our society do not adhere to this.